Welcome to our course about Inventor's iLogic. Let's begin by creating a new part. We'll use a metric part. I'll use the standard part file in millimeters. Click Projects. You see that we're working in an iLogic project. Let's click Done, and let's click Create. Before we get rolling, let me just say a few words about iLogic. This is a utility Inventor provides you for creating custom script to work with Inventor. It's basically rules-based design. In other words, you can build your own custom intelligence into your model. In this tutorial, I'll show you a simple example of how iLogic works. Let's begin by inserting a sketch. Now let's create a rectangle here. I'll make it 40, tab by 20 millimeters. Press Escape to exit. Let's rename our dimensions now. Right-click on the dimension, select Dimension Properties. This dimension will be called Length. Let's click OK. Right-click on the other dimension, Dimension Properties, and I'll name it Width. Click OK and exit the sketch. OK, activate the extrusion command. A 10 millimeter depth is fine. Let's click OK. Let's right-click on this face. Actually, let me make that last dimension visible first. Let's right-click on Extrusion 1, Show Dimensions. Now select the dimension and select Dimension Properties. We'll name this dimension Height. And click OK. Remember, we could also rename the dimension from the Parameters window. Here's our dimensions. Let's close the Parameters window. And now let's go create some rules in iLogic. The iLogic panel can be found on the Manage tab. Let's click on Add Rule. First, we name the rule. I'll accept the default name. Click OK. The Edit Rules dialog box is now open. Now at this point in the course, I'm not going to go deep into programming script. I'm just going to show you the principle so you get the idea of how this process works. Let's right-click on Extrusion 1 and select Capture Current State. Here we've got some simple code. The first line are comments. Any line that starts with a single quotation mark or an apostrophe is ignored by Inventor. Comments are where you can put explanations or some useful history that you might want to look at later. It's a good idea to comment your code well. Otherwise, a few months down the road, you might open this code and have no idea what you did here. So remember, a commented line of code will begin with a single quotation mark or apostrophe. Notice that when you comment a line, it appears in a light gray font in italics. In the next line, you see feature dot is active. Here's the name of the feature, and equals true. In other words, if this feature was suppressed, it would become unsuppressed with this code. If I type false instead of true here, it means that Extrusion 1 will be suppressed. Next line, we see the length equals 40 millimeters, the width 20, and the height 10 millimeters. Let's change the length to 60 millimeters and click OK. Nothing's happened, but let's click Update. And you see the update. Now the model has a length dimension of 60 millimeters. Let's open the iLogic browser. Here's the rule we just created, Rule 0. Let's double-click on it to open it. Get back to the Edit Rule window. Let me highlight and copy this line, and I'm going to paste it down here. Let's change is active to color. As you noticed, I typed it with a lowercase c. Visual Basic is forgiving for this type of mistake. When I save this rule, it's going to correct me automatically. Okay, next, let's type in an equal sign after the part name, Extrusion 1. Now, double quotations, and let's type our color value within the double quotations, red. As you see, I have double quotations here, but not here. That's because here I'm dealing with a Boolean variable, and down below I'm dealing with a string. Let's click OK. Double-click on Rule 0 to launch the editor again. As you see, Inventor did indeed correct my syntax. Before changing the color to red, let's incorporate the message box function. So I type in message box dot show, open the parentheses, close the parentheses, and put a pair of double quotation marks within the parentheses. A message box is what makes a program message in a dialog window, like a warning or confirmation or a pop-up. Now I'm going to type what's called my argument. Let's type my message, comma, a pair of double quotation marks. The next argument will be the title in the message box window. I'll call it title. Let's click OK to run our rule. Here is the message box with the title. Let's click OK. And let's edit the rule again. I'm going to add another line. I'll copy this line here. Right-click and copy. Let's paste it here. Right-click and paste, or Control-V. Let's change the color to gold instead. What'll happen now is that our feature will change color to gold. A message box is going to pop up, and when we click OK, the box will become red. Let's test it out. Click OK. Now our extrude is gold. Let's click OK. Now it turns red. By the way, you don't have to run the rule from the editor window. You can just right-click on the rule and select Run Rule. Here our extrusion is gold. Let's click OK, and it turns red. Double-click on Rule 0 to edit it again. Now let's incorporate the input box function. I'll right-click and copy this line of code. Control-V to paste it below. Instead of message box, I'm going to type input box. Let me explain a bit more about what I've done here. The I is a variable. The message box is the function that shows the user a message box and waits for a user to click a button. So in my example, the user, that's me, had to click OK. This function returns an integer to store inside variable A. The input box is also a function, but it does something different. It waits for the user's input and then returns a string. And now variable I will store the string. In the next line, let's replace the value in the parameter length. Right-click and copy. And let's right-click and paste. We'll replace the value in length with the value stored in the input box. We might have a little problem here since the value is a string, but the parameter length is what's called a double. In order to avoid any trouble, I'm going to use what's called the CDBL function. This is a function that converts the string data type to a double data type. Let's run our code. Click OK. The extrude is gold. Here's the message box. Let's click OK. The extrusion turns red. Here's the input box. Let's enter a value, let's say 20 millimeters. And let's click OK. As you see, nothing happened, so let's click Update. And here is our updated model. Let's add another line of code. I'm going to type ilogic VB period update when done space equals space and type the word true. This last line of code will update the model for us without our having to click Update. Now let's input a length value, 45, click OK, and the model updates without our having to click Update. If you happen to be familiar with Visual Basic, by now you're going to understand that that's the programming language we're using in iLogic. Technically speaking, we're using Video-Tutorials.Net. If this is your first time programming, you might be thinking, there's no way I can type all of this stuff by hand. Well, the good news is that hand coding is kind of a thing of the past. iLogic lets you do all this coding without knowing the syntax. In the left-hand panel of this browser window are all the snippets of code that you're going to need to make modifications. In our next few tutorials, we'll be learning about some of the things I talked about here, data types, variables, etc. And this concludes our first tutorial about iLogic.